I have to tell you that I am so happy to have Candice with us today, because I've been working with Candice since 2014. I can't believe it's been that long, actually.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. And Candice used to run live cookery workshops for us in London, in the city, yeah, and on Saturdays. And we introduced those because people would come back from their holidays and they couldn't kind of keep up with the healthy eating part. So Candice came in and she would run these courses for us, which were just brilliant. She'd give people really practical and useful tips on how to continue healthy eating in your day-to-day. You know, she would do lunch boxes and all those kind of things. They were brilliant. So it's been a long time that we've been working together, and it's so lovely to see you, Candice.
Yeah, nice to be with you again, still in a virtual way as opposed to in a cookery class, which was what we did.
Yeah, sure. And you're no longer in London now, are you? Because you want to tell everyone where you are. And
yeah, so I'm a nutritionist, naturopath, so I've always worked with food, but I changed from working more as a nutritionist into being more of a chef, and I work privately for families in the UK, high profile families who have health in mind, sports fanatics, that kind of dynamic of family, which was really lovely to get to use all my knowledge on food and whole foods and how they support your body for energy. And then that just took me traveling quite a bit. And then I found myself now in the Hamptons. I'm in Southampton, New York. So welcome from a very snowy Hamptons today. But it's nice and cozy inside. And I've been doing some food prep. I would love to share with you some key ingredients today to nourish your thyroid. I've chosen the key ingredients that contain iodine, specifically to boost your metabolism in a natural way without having to constantly think of supplements. So this could be used as a preventative method, whether you're feeling a bit sluggish or tired or just a bit run down. Nourishing your thyroid is always a good idea.
Wonderful. So before you carry on, I just want you to explain to us what a naturopathic nutritionist actually means, because there's so many nutritionists out there, and I think naturopathic nutritionists are the best. Of course, I would say that, but I really do. But I want you to explain what that means to people, please.
Yeah. So I was Googling the same thing when I was learning to, what am I going to study? I really wanted to study more about health because I had a health issue myself. I had cysts all over my ovaries, polycystic ovaries. My diet wasn't great. I was brought up in South Africa, so I always ate healthily, seafood, vegetables, but I never really knew why I was eating and what I was eating. So I started Googling, and I came across CNM, College of Naturopathic Medicine, and it was easy enough to be an adult student there because I could work and study. And the reason I chose naturopathy is because you learning the basic biochemical pathways of the body in terms of what nutrients and food you're eating that can boost those body systems. So you're not actually going so sci-fi, scientific. You do cover chemistry quite a lot, but you're actually studying the ancient remedies as well in the Hippocrates, ancient Greek, herbs, plants, botanicals, from bee pollen all the way through. And also you have the ecosystems in mind as well. So seasonal, where does your food come from? So environmental impact, sustainability, you study that as well, because you believe as a naturopath that the world is as a whole, we are all living as one. So whatever you do in terms of today is going to impact tomorrow. So you incorporate that into your studies of food as well. So that's what sold it to me, really. Yeah,
that's wonderful. That's so good. And as you say, Hippocrates said, doctors take, I find this really quite ironic, because doctors take the Hippocratic Oath, but they don't really know anything about nutrition, and they don't study nutrition. But it's interesting that he said, let food be thy medicine, right? And so I think food and how we eat is such a therapeutic way of, you know, like looking after ourselves, and the way you cook and the food that you prepare, and you focusing on ingredients that really become therapeutic for us, don't they? So yeah.
And I think, you know, being really understanding what you're eating and why really does connect you. And I've seen it with children as well. It's really important for them to know where their food comes from when they're eating. But today we're focusing on the thyroid purely because our soil is lacking minerals. For example, iodine. The richest source of iodine and the most abundant source of iodine is in seaweed. And it grows incredibly fast. So it's a sustainable growing plant. And I think I mentioned Mara seaweed, which is the one that you can find at Tesco's even, and they've got and it comes in a lovely little tin.
So put it up so we can all see it.
Mara seaweed.
Mara, okay, this is wakame flakes, right?
Yes, this one's wakame, but you get kombu, you get, so there's 3 different colors, brown, red, and green. And they're different fucus types of species, fucus it's called. Today I'm using a combination of wakame and kombu seaweed. And you can get it at Tesco's as well. There's a percentage off. There's a lot of seaweed that comes from Scotland. They've actually used it for centuries as a food. It's sustainable. It's actually helped Ireland hundreds of years ago when they had the terrible depression. People were actually surviving because they were eating seaweed. So there's a whole history around seaweed and how we've been eating it. Not only is it high in fiber, it's got thyroid making nutrition, zinc, magnesium, calcium, potassium, all very important for the body's way to make enzymes on a nutritional level, the foundation, they call it, of nutrition. It's actually building the foundation because it's micronutrients. We're talking tiny nutrients that your body needs in little quantities, but every day you're going to need that. So yeah, so we're going to do that. And also,
can I just stop you 1 second? Sorry. Yeah. Can everybody see Candice? Actually, Rosie, if you wouldn't mind just putting yourself on mute, please, because I think you're popping up when you're doing things. So if you if you can just mute yourself. Perfect, thank you. And is that it right now? Oh, okay. Now you're not muted. Now you're muted. Perfect. Thank you. So
I'll be turning my camera down when I'm
and everyone can see Candice, right? If you can just put me some yeses into the chat box, that would be great, or no's. And okay, perfect. And then also there's a comment here about hypothyroidism.
Hypo as in low?
Yes.
Hyper. Oh, hyper.
Yeah. So we shouldn't really be having that, or saying.
So basically, seaweed is a food. And your body will only take as much iodine as it needs. So, you know, obviously you're not going to be eating bucket loads of seaweed. Your body's still going to be needing iodine, not only for your thyroid, but for other actions in the body as well. So having a little sprinkle on your food is not going to cause your thyroid to suddenly go out of control if it's hyper prone. It's a food, and your body, that's another thing as a naturopath, food is medicine. You're only going to eat what your body will take as it needs. Your body will take that whole food as much as it needs. It will, if it's got enough iodine, it won't take any more. Whereas if you go to supplement with an iodine liquid and it's super high, it's then been chemically altered and concentrated, and then your body might not recognize it as a whole food, and that's when it starts to play with your chemistry in a much more dangerous manner. But the little flakes like this is not going to affect your hypothyroid, not if you're using sprinkles like that.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And then that's really enlightening. Thank you for telling us that. And then also, there's a question here about Hashimoto's. I guess it's the same thing, really.
Same thing. Same thing. If your thyroid has Hashimoto's, that's an autoimmune disease, then, again, using seaweed as a natural sprinkle or mixing it into your sea salt, and you're getting tiny bits into your diet over a period of time, it's not going to affect your thyroid. As long as your seaweed comes from clean, pristine waters, make sure it's coming from an unpolluted country. So Scotland, they have sea greens, for instance, I would use if I had any thyroid issues, is another seaweed company. You can go and download documents on Hashimoto's, on hypothyroid, on his website called seagreens.co.uk, everything to do with seaweed and scientifically, and the grade of seaweed and how clean it is, what it contains, what it's good for. There's a lot of scientific research around seaweed. He's very passionate about seaweed. I've met him a few times, and it's really enlightening. If you really want to find out more about seaweed, it's a really good website to go to.
That's really, really interesting. Thank you. And can you later on, Candice, just put those links onto the forum?
Yes,
under the nutrition one. Okay, let's get on with it.
Okay, should we get cooking? So the two recipes that I've decided to make for you today, I'm going to semi-demonstrate one for you. It's a black bean burger. I think I've already posted the details on your lovely forum, Stella. The reason I've chosen the black bean burger is it's a complex starch, so your body doesn't absorb all of that starch in one go like a potato. It absorbs it slowly, so it keeps you fuller for longer, and it doesn't absorb all of that starch, so it's a lower glycemic index. If you've heard of glycemic index, keeps you nice and full. And I just thought it's an absolutely delicious way to make something for you or a friend, because it's quite different to make a black bean burger. Yeah. So I've just got some black beans.
Well, can I ask you about the black beans, because we had a bit of it's interesting now, we're not so busy on the travel side, so we spend a lot of time talking about food with the team, and we had a whole big conversation about black beans this week, just coincidentally, because I made something with black beans, again coincidentally, on Monday. And I actually I bought the dried ones, and I let them soak for overnight, and then I cook them. What is the best way? Is it tinned? Is it dried? How should we access our black beans?
So black beans do contain something called lectins, which is a plant. It protects the plant from being overeaten in nature. So that causes people some discomfort in their stomach. Have you heard about that when beans does that? Yes. So the thing with beans are they're absolutely fine canned, because they've been cooked for a very long period. So they're quite soft by the time you get them. And that's actually a good thing. Just make sure you drain them quite well and then use them. If you want to buy them, it's quite a laborious task to soak them. And then sometimes you don't always get that desired tender effect that you want. So I would say by all means buy tinned beans. Like there is nothing, and just make sure it comes from a clean source. Again, you're not going to buy, have a look where your beans are coming from. Are they grown in fresh water? Think about ecological where your beans come from. So in your food processor or in your blender, you're just going to pop your beans in. I've put the recipe up, roughly a cup for 2 bean patties or a whole tin, which is what it comes in anyway, size wise. I use ground flax seeds as a binder, so it's like my egg, if you like, and paprika and cayenne pepper.
So flaxseed is an amazing ingredient, right?
Yes. So the ground flaxseed becomes almost gelatinous once it's soaked, and I put it into a bit of milk or oat milk, or a bit of water. It's up to you. I just put in a bit of oat milk, and I mix it with some cayenne pepper. Now I've chosen cayenne pepper as my key ingredient. I just have it in a little pot because I throw it in my bag when I go. It goes on all my food, purely because cayenne pepper strengthens the veins and the arteries, the walls of the arteries, and it really moves the blood along, which then delivers the nutrition to the parts of the body that you need. So as we age, we need to look after our veins. And if you stand for long periods of time, spider veins, I've seen cayenne pepper strengthen my little burst blood vessels and take them completely away. So I believe in cayenne pepper 100% improves your body's circulation. So you could just make a paste like that, which you then add to your black beans in the food processor. Can
you just tell us, sorry, I'm going to keep interrupting you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us why black beans are good for you? What's in black beans there?
Yeah, so it's a complex carbohydrate, keeps you fuller for longer. It's a resistant starch, so it's got a lower glycemic index. So it's not like eating a whole baked potato, which is kind of the staple people have at night. You know, it's quick, it's easy. But I just thought, let's choose a complex starch that keeps you fuller for longer. It's full of folate, so boosts your blood in terms of blood toning, blood building, high in fiber. And it's going to make you feel full quickly without giving you any insulin spikes, because it's a resistant starch. So your body won't absorb all that carbohydrate in one go like a potato. It will just absorb it really slowly. And some of the starch, it doesn't even absorb. It just moves through the digestive tract, really exercising your colon as it moves the food down. So it's really good for your digestive system as well, high in fiber.
Wonderful, thank you. And it's high in magnesium as well, right?
And magnesium and calcium, folate, iron, a bit of iron in there as well. But mostly I chose it for its low glycemic index for a nighttime meal. Yeah. And when a recipe calls for breadcrumbs, I generally use oat bran. So you can use oats instead of breadcrumbs. Just a little tip I thought I would give you. Now, once you've blended it, I'm not going to blend it now and make a big noise. So I've just put it all in there. Once you've blended it, it'll come out in a nice patty. See, it doesn't stick to my hands at all. And you can make a nice black bean burger. I throw some spinach in. I threw some cilantro in, some coriander. And any little bit of green. Can you see how perfectly it makes a patty without sticking to my hands? And here I've got one that I baked earlier. So for 15 minutes aside, it comes out beautifully. I've baked it in the oven with a bit of sunflower seeds. And it's absolutely delicious on a weeknight, because you can take it, you can serve it with a bit of roast vegetables, or you can serve it with a salad on the side, or you could break it up. And it's quite crispy on the outside. So, and say now you're just cooking for one person and you don't want to eat all those black beans, you know, make yourself a black bean dip with olive oil, garlic, spices.
That's the same mix, right?
It's the same mix, yeah. I just decided not to make too many patties.
Yeah.
I just decided to make this is just for if you don't want to make them all patties. So the one I've just made, I'm going to pop in the oven for 15 minutes aside, and it'll cook away. So there you go. You've got a lovely, healthy meal. Put it in a wrap. Serve it with some sour cream, some cottage cheese. It's delicious. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We've got a question here. Could the patties be frozen?
Yes, absolutely. You can freeze them. I would freeze them from when you've just made them, actually I'd freeze them from when you've just made them for up to a month. And then the patties that if you just make them, you can put them in the fridge for up to 3 days and snack on them the next day, warmed up with some hummus, if you like.
So that's a really good evening meal because it's low GI.
That's right. Keeps you nice and full.
Keeps you nice and full, and then it's a real balanced meal. That's lovely and very quick. What temperature in the oven temperature?
Yeah, about 250 degrees and flip it once. So once 15
what's
minutes.
that fan? What's that in fan? About 180?
180.
Yeah. Okay.
To 200. Yeah. It's a quick bake. 30 minutes, 15 minutes aside. Just watch it. You could put a little bit of olive oil if you like a crispy shell.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds really good. Well, we'll be trying that given our black bean obsession this week. We were sharing recipes. I put something on in the nutrition group because I did black bean and sweet potato.
I saw that.
Really cute. Oh, it was delicious. It's so warming and so good. And so I've now discovered black beans and become a bit obsessive about black beans. So thank you.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show people, like, instead of buying all those like meats, you know, the Beyond meat that you can make a patty with. Fake meats. This has a lot more.
But these are the vegan, like the vegan burgers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially the Beyond meats. You know, it looks like real meat, and it's.
I don't know those. Okay, what are they like? Just vegan.
Yeah, vegan mincemeat, for example.
Okay, that instinctively doesn't sound good.
And there's a lot of preservatives and additives and cornstarch and corn this and corn that, and it's just like
all these veggie burgers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, some are good. Some have a lot of vegetables in them. But when you start seeing maltodextrins and fillers and binders and things that you can't pronounce, then you're kind of like, I think I'll just make my own black bean burger.
Yeah, and it only takes that long. It's really good. Thank you.
No worries. So now we're going to move on to the next recipe I chose. We're doing a prawn stir-fry or shrimp stir-fry. So I've got some shrimps. Again, make sure you choose shrimps that come from clean, pristine waters. If you're choosing frozen especially.
What should we be looking out for?
So just like, you don't want your shrimp to be coming from, like, I don't know, areas of China or India that you don't know, if you know what.
Yeah, okay. And
if you can choose them from like Scotland or a bit more local, you know, Indonesia has some really clean waters and some not. So you kind of have to think, especially if it's frozen. Yeah.
You have to do your own research basically around that.
Yeah.
And what if you're vegetarian and you don't want to use prawns? What can you use instead?
Yeah, so this is where the wakame flakes are delicious, or the kombu flakes are delicious. It's adding that really rich, fishy, umami flavor, like of the ocean, without using the shrimp, you know?
So you can just do the vegetable without the shrimp.
Just the vegetable with a little bit of seaweed.
Or tofu, maybe? Or...
Tofu's great, yeah, as long as it's organic, again, and it's... tempeh is also very good. It's fermented and you can actually fry it and top it and make it crispy, which is really nice in coconut oil. Yeah, I've just chosen the shrimp because people are at home and they find that shrimp is kind of a luxurious meal. Yeah. It makes you feel like you're having something different to the norm. Yeah. So we chose it to just be a little bit like zhuzhi on a
I like
Valentine's weekend.
Yeah, Valentine's weekend. Even if you're just cooking for yourself, put something really nice. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just going to turn my camera now onto my pan, and I'm going to add, I use water to cook with this recipe because it steams the shrimp beautifully. And steam frying will never let your food burn because it goes to 100 degrees Celsius. Water reaches that point and then it boils, so it will never burn your food. And I'm adding some garlic because that's always lovely, and some onion. So you add about 4 tablespoons of water, and your shrimp marinade, which is, I've just marinated with tamari soy sauce, a little bit of chili.
Can we just talk about that as well? What's the difference between tamari soy sauce and normal soy sauce?
Yeah, so tamari soy sauce doesn't contain wheat.
So it's gluten-free.
It's gluten-free. And usually it should just contain 3 ingredients. That's why I like it. It's soy sauce, soybeans, salt, and water. There really shouldn't be any sugar in it unless you are choosing a teriyaki.
Okay. And so I buy the Clear Spring Tamari.
That's great.
That's a good brand, right?
Yeah, Clear Spring's lovely. It's a transparent company. You can read more about it on their website.
Tell us a little bit more, because you're very into all of this about kind of the quality of the food and the companies. When you say transparent companies, so you actually take time and do the research around where you're buying your food and where it's coming from. And
yeah, I'll make special trips, sell it to like supermarkets and see what they offer. You know, even Aldi's quite great, you know?
Yeah.
Aldi's got some really, really good organic produce from Turkey, from Greece, especially dried fruits. Mm-hmm. They also have their own organic range, so you can read usually on the back of the bottle where it's made. So this one I bought locally it's called Good and Gather. It says organic Tamari soy, and it says made in the US. So at least I know that it's you know, it's made here, but and certified by Organic Soil Alliance. So that's something, you know.
So I guess the message here is, if we're going along the theme that food is medicine, we need to be careful to make sure that the food that we're buying is good grade food.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, you know, people who say, well, organic is so expensive. And especially when you get to like organic meat and stuff like that. I have to agree on that. I mean, I always say, well, just eat less and have like just have it, you know, less than you normally would, and just, you know, have good grade. But what's your view on like organic vegetables versus regular vegetables?
Yeah, so, you know, some things I don't buy organic just because I can't afford everything organic, to be honest with you. So avocados I don't buy organic because they come in a shell, so that it's protected. I also buy a Veggie Wash. I've got a spray called Veggie Wash.
Ooh.
Or you can use apple cider vinegar. And so my peppers, they're not organic today because I love to eat, I eat a lot of peppers, like bell peppers. So red, yellow, orange, and I wash them as soon as I get home in this.
I've never seen anything like that. What is it?
Veggie Wash spray, and it says removes, waxes, chemicals, and soil.
Do we have that over here in the UK as well? Have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah, at Whole Foods I've seen them.
What's it called? Veggie Wash? Same
yeah,
thing?
Veggie Wash, and the main ingredient is citrus oil.
Interesting. But you said
rosemary.
You could use apple cider vinegar as well.
Yes.
Oh, you can get it here, Lisa says. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I'm learning something every day. Okay.
So I just wash my peppers really well, and my oranges and my lemons, because I love to use the zest of my citrus, because it really also is full of medicinal properties. Really keeps the chest area clean, keeps mucus away from your breathing apparatus. So my prawns are basically steaming. I'm going to show you in a minute. Just another thing to reduce food waste, you can use celery, you can use carrots, and you just add it to your stir fry. I mean, celery is great. Most people just think it's for salad, but I believe it's for everything.
It's aromatic, isn't it?
It's aromatic. It adds a real warmth, you know, like a soup would.
Yeah.
And I've got some carrots, and I also make my own vegetable broths in my magic blender when I've got some excess. Ginger's a firm one that everyone should have in their kitchen, winter, all year round. I mean, winter definitely, and all year round if they can.
And why?
What ginger does is, when it actually boils in hot water, it releases gingerol, which is a type of oil in the ginger, it has to boil for a few minutes for that property to actually really develop. And it just boosts your immune system. And it really becomes a tonic for your body in terms of reducing inflammation, congestion, opening the airways, improving your breathing, and keeping your immune in a tip-top condition. So ginger is wonderful. And not only at night, I just put it in a cup of boiling water for an evening drink, and it's absolutely fine. Now you could take your steam fry, and you could have it with wild rice, basmati rice, brown rice noodles. I'm a fan. Sometimes I buy these made with organic brown rice, very simple noodles. Or I have some pad thai brown noodles, which are really delicious, made with 100% whole grain, 2 grams of fiber, and it's ready in 5 minutes, which is kind of what you're aiming for. Now you can see my shrimp have changed color, so they're a beautiful color. The reason I chose them is because they're high in protein and they're low in fat, so great as a midweek or one or two meals a week. You're not eating red meat. Also a good source of iodine, zinc for your immune system. And people are eating more and more shrimp than ever before, apparently, a survey I read about earlier. So just make sure you're getting a good quality shrimp.
So that's because of the high zinc and zinc levels, because of the immunity. So zinc is actually a mineral that your thyroid uses to make T3 and T4, which are your thyroid hormones. It actually uses that mineral to make your thyroid hormones. And the thyroid has to work properly and efficiently for to have strong immunity, right? Yeah, it's important for regulating all of your metabolism. It is your powerhouse it's your powerhouse, they call it, of your metabolism, the seat of your well-being, really. So hormones are very important, as people know, and very complex to understand and to regulate. So it's really important to support your thyroid, which is your biggest gland right in your neck, which actually protects you and regulates your energy as well. Yeah, we've had sessions in the past around how with hormonal imbalances, thyroid becomes a real issue for lots of people, which hasn't affected. There's some nice comments here, Cheryl. Yes, sliced ginger, squeeze of lemon juice, a spoon of honey, lovely drink. I totally agree. I've been doing turmeric root and ginger root, and I boil those, and I top up during the day. That's lovely too. Lovely. So ginger's ginger's. So I've just chosen some really thin noodles, which I've thrown in. They're brown rice noodles, and I've put in a little bit more water. And I'm just going to let that cook for 3 more minutes, and it'll be ready. And then I'll have my meal, which I can serve up. This usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes, this meal. So it's really a good one to do. Yeah. What else did I mention? Oh, so where have you put the seaweed flakes? So the seaweed flakes, I'm just going to use a generous pinch, and that's just going to go in the last 4 or 5 minutes, last minutes or 2, sorry. I've got about 3 minutes left, so I can actually add it now. It's just to soften it. They don't take long to cook at all. And it's just going to give it a really rich umami flavor as well, a really ocean flavor. What you can do as well is you can mix the dulse flakes, which are red, with your sea salt. So you're using less salt, but you're getting all the minerals from the seaweed in every sprinkle. And it's really nice on eggs in the morning as well. You're just using tiny little bits, but you're getting those micronutrients that your body needs in little doses. That's really interesting. So, I mean, seaweed's a bit of an acquired taste. I love the taste of sea. I love all things sea tasting. Yeah, I love oysters and all those, anything tastes of the sea. I personally love it. But some people just can't, like, they just don't really like that taste because it's a little bit, I don't know what the word
fishy.
Yeah, that kind of fishy taste. Yeah, fishy taste.
Well, my advice would be to them is to try a few different types, which Mara seaweed does have, because their dulse flakes actually taste nutty, I think.
Interesting.
But then again, you know, the nori sheets are used for sushi, so they're the flat green ones, and they're really good for the sushi, and they're a bit more fishy. But the dulse flakes are actually more nutty.
Interesting. So there's got to be something in this whole seaweed lark, right? Because look at Japan and how healthy they are in Japan. And
so the healthiest, the Okinawas are still the healthiest in the world. Okinawa.
Okay. And that must be something to do with the amount of seaweed they take in, right? Yeah.
No, definitely. And Mediterranean foods are strongly second the healthiest diet in the world, and most suitable to most of the population demographics is definitely the Mediterranean diet. Yeah. But if you take an Okinawan and you put them in America, they're not going to do well at all, unless because they're going to go to a Western diet and it's going to totally disagree with them.
Right.
So, you know, you got to be mindful of your genetics as well, your history.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at your.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just going to give it a quick mix.
I feel like I'm on Saturday Kitchen. I love this. Like Saturday morning. But I'm not standing over you, looking like smelling. You know the guy.
Yes, I wish you could smell it. Okay, so right now I'm smelling ginger, lime, a little bit of tamari soy, and then of course the shrimp, which has been steamed. So it does smell like the ocean in here. So I'm ready. It's cooked. It's ready to go.
Lime in it as well. We missed the lime there.
Yes, a little squeeze of lime. I mean, the lime just adds a little bit of, you know, upbeat citrus. I've washed my lime earlier, so I always just give it a little scrape. This is my favorite tool, by the way, is a little microplane if you haven't got one. Try not to go to the white pith of your citrus because that's where it's bitter. You just want the color, pretty much. And a good generous squeeze of lime.
So whenever you're putting like lime or lemon in your food, you recommend putting a tiny bit of zest as well?
Yes, definitely if you've given it a good wash. Okay. Or organic if possible. And then of course my cayenne pepper, which boosts your circulation, as I've spoken about before. A little bit spicy.
And tell everybody about it got rid of the veins that you were telling me the other day in your
from all my chefing, I've had these spider veins in the backs of my knees, annoyingly, and I've been using cayenne pepper quite religiously. So I noticed that it took away the spider veins, which
it's amazing.
Which were in the backs of my knees, and I've been eating cayenne pepper for about a year, quite religiously. So it definitely does work. So you can just top it up with a little bit of cilantro, which is also very, very healthy in terms of blood toning, blood building, cleansing the digestive system. So great for detox, heavy metals, if you really go into it. So yeah, there you have your wholesome bowl of noodles, which you can eat with chopsticks and feel like you're dining out, basically.
Delicious. So you could swap the prawns for chicken, tofu.
Yep.
Anything really. Beef.
Anything really. The reason I've chosen them is again for the zinc content and for the thyroid, for focusing on thyroid rich foods. But we can, in our future cooking sessions, Stella, we can focus on different parts of the body and why we choose certain ingredients to cook with. But for a vegan, for instance, I would if they're okay with having seaweed, a little bit of seaweed will definitely help with iodine and minerals, good for the thyroid. And then some tempeh would be lovely with this as well. Yeah.
Looks delicious. I feel like I want to pop over for dinner.
I wish I could do it.
Zap me over. I'm really hungry now.
I wish I could share it all with you. Yeah, no, it smells pretty good.
Yeah, I bet it does. So there's your dinner sorted.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, that's
today.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
So what we'll do then, we discussed with Candice for the future. We'll probably do some masterclasses where we cook along together. So that would be quite cool, and we can focus in on specific areas. So we talked about joint health.
Yes.
But if anyone has any ideas or requests, please just let us know.
Please, yes.
What you would like to concentrate kind of therapeutically, and Candice can create some recipes for us, and we can cook along together. That'd be really nice. And then instead of us sitting here salivating over your food, we can actually have our own to eat afterwards. So that would be quite cool. So here we got here, immunity boosting, B12. Oh look, lots of people. Joint health. Okay, let's write all these. Right. Muscle recovery after workout. Yeah. I never thought of putting seaweed on boiled eggs either. That's a really good idea. Anti-inflammatory.
Yes. Please do go check out the Mara website and the sea green. I'm going to put the links because they are the fundies of the seaweed. So they make minestrone soups with kombu, you know, and dulse on eggs, poached eggs Benedict with dulse flakes. Really delicious. Old recipes as well. Some from like back 100 years ago in Scotland, you know, potatoes and seaweed. Really nice things. Really yummy.
Gosh, thank you. I hadn't even heard of them. Thank you for that. Really,
that's my pleasure.
I'm going to get into seaweed cooking now. So it's good. So we've got, look here, we've got Mara. The company is called Mara, but Candice will put it in the group as you'll put. Can you put a picture of the
flakes?
Flakes, please. I'll do that. Wow. Okay, I'm going to keep all of these, and we'll put together some masterclasses on this. It's happening. Okay, cool. Orange zest to clear mucus. Now that's interesting. We would appreciate further explanation.
Okay.
How to use lemon and orange zest to clear mucus.
Yes. Okay. I think talking about like symptoms is very good as well. So what to do if I have a lot of mucus, you know, what to do if I have a ticklish throat. You know, some people wake up in the morning and you can't talk or articulate. Sometimes you got such a dry throat, you know. So we can look at things like foods that improve mucus and things that you know, take the mucus away. So sometimes you are too dry, and sometimes it takes too long to clear as well.
I've got to say, because I have quite a lot of mucus, I wake up in the morning and I feel a little bit kind of congested. But when I was in Cyprus, because I was by the sea for a few months, it all cleared up. So I think it's like, again, the iodine, the sea air, all of that really helps, doesn't it? So I'm definitely going to pick up the seaweed again, because I'm not by the sea, so time to pick that up. It's very cool. Please put images of the products used on the forum. Yes, she will. Claudia. Lovely to see you, Claudia.
Nice. It's good to see.
It's wonderful. Does anyone else have any other questions for Candice? No? Okay. Well, I think we've got a couple of great recipes. We've had some brilliant cooking demonstrations. Thank you so much, Candice. And if you go onto the event, I forgot to show you this earlier, but I'm going to show you now, because now that I'm sharing the screen. So I'm sharing the screen again. So if you go onto this event here, on here, this is Candice's event. If you can please leave a review for the event, if you would like to. And then also, if you go down, this is where Candice put all the recipes that she's just made here. So she's on the black bean burgers there, and the benefits of the black bean burgers. But we'll copy and paste that again into the groups the nutrition group here, so that it's all in one place. If you ever need to go and look for it again, it's all there. So I'll stop sharing. Yeah. I'm into sharing screens now. So,
I like that. Yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah. So thank you. Yes, and that's a really good point. Thank you. I especially like how she made recipes with smaller portions. I agree. I totally agree. Because we can overdo it, can't we? And especially if you're just cooking for one.
Yes. The point of micronutrients is to get it little and often, not in a whole big dose in one and go hope for the best. You know, the body needs everything in little bits constantly. Yeah. That's kind of, we're feeding the foundation, shall we say.
Yeah. Just one final question from Nadia, because she wants to know about cauliflower and the health benefits of cauliflower, because she loved them. So
okay, cauliflower.
Yeah, just tell us that, and then we'll sign.
Yeah, so cauliflower is quite similar to broccoli in terms of like the family, and it's indole 3 carbinol, I believe, and it acts as a hormone in the body as well. Once it's converted, it really boosts generally hormones, digestion, detoxification, liver. It supports the liver to cleanse. It's high in fiber. Indole 3 carbinol helps you to detox estrogen. So if the body, if you're going through hormonal changes, you know, we can try and think about what too much estrogen would feel like in the body. It can make you feel anxious, anxiety, a little bit jittery. You know, women know when their hormones aren't really feeling balanced. You're not as at peace in your body, can we say? And so cauliflower really helps to detox any excess hormones that are not in harmony, basically. So it is a hormone tonic, really. Yeah, cauliflower.
Wonderful, thank you. I love cauliflower too.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, Nadia, please share your cauliflower burger recipe. That sounds amazing. So yes, and please, and anybody and everybody who feels inclined, just go onto the forum and share any great recipes that you may have that others could benefit from.
I would love to try your recipes.
Yeah. Candice would like to try our recipes.
I do.
But she can critique them afterwards.
No, that would be fun. No, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Candice, for being with us. We'll see you again soon. Really enjoyed it. Lovely to see you there in New York.
Yeah, nice to connect.
Yeah, nice to connect. Yeah. And thank you all for being with us again. I hope you found it informative and helpful, and we'll see you again soon. Next week, we have a session on movement. It's actually kind of personal training sessions for incorporating the breath with Jordan. So that's going to be really good. And then my final comment is we're doing the mindful painting masterclass. Quite a lot of you have booked that. Thank you for that. But if you are interested and you do want to do it, please book your place as soon as possible so that we can ship out the painting kit to you in time. So that's it for today. Have a lovely week ahead. Stay warm today and tomorrow. And then I think on Monday we'll get back to normal temperatures. And looking forward to seeing many of you next week. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Bye.